Let's see what type of music we can make using an ice maker. Let's import the ice maker. We're going to create two separate sounds out of this. The first one is going to be our kick. The second sound is going to be the ice going in the glass. It's going to sound like this. Let's export both the files. Thank y'all for the continued support in this series. This is episode 37, and as usual, if you guys have a sound you want me to try and make music out of, let me know in the comments. Let's crop the sound of the ice maker. Pitch it down and assign it to this note. Now let's crop the sound of the ice. Pitch it down and assign it to this note. Let's add some low end and cut off our high end. Let's add some reverb. Now the final drum kit sounds like this.
See what type of music we can make using a basketball.
Let's import the switch sound. Let's add a gate to remove the background noise. And now the waveform looks more percussive. Let's cut off the high end for one sound. This will be our second sound. If you have a sound you want me to try and make music out of, let me know in the comments. Let's pitch down the first swish sound. Sounds like this. Our second sound is going to remain the same. Sounds like this. We're going to pitch up the second sound. Now it sounds like this. I'm totally going to save this groove because I'm thinking of doing a full song with it for the 100th episode. Let's add some reverb, and here's our brush kit. Let's see what type of music we can make using a toothbrush. Import the toothbrush. We're going to set our tempo so we can create a brush loop. We're going to quantize it to a 16th note so the brush strokes sound like this. We're going to cut the brush strokes. Copy and paste so we have a 4-bar loop. Let's cut off some of the high end. Export the brush loop. Now let's crop the file so we get just one brush stroke. Export the brush stroke. Let's open up our sampler. Pitch it down and assign it to this note. Let's add a second brush stroke to the sample. Pitch it up and assign it to this note. Let's add the brush loop and assign it to this note here. Now we got a brush kit. Let's see what type of music we can make using a door closing. Let's import the door. Let's crop the file, and let's export it. Let's open up our 808. We're going to set our tempo. We're going to load the door in as two separate sounds. We're going to crop the sample. We're going to pitch it down and shorten it so that it sounds like this. The second sample we're just going to keep as is. Let's cut off the high end. And then we're just going to make some more slight adjustments, just for taste. Add some reverb, and there you have it.
Let's see what type of music we can make using a NOKIA.
Let's import the NOKIA ringtone. I'm not even going to need to change the pitch for this one. This is perfectly in tune. Let's crop it so we're left with the high A. Let's have the sound fade in. Let's compress it so the volume's even. Thank y'all for the continued support in this series. This is episode 95, and as usual, if you have a sound you want me to try and make music out of, let me know in the comments. Let's crop the file and set the root key to A. Let's add some reverb, and here's our synth. Let's run it through a bass amp, turn down our high end, and now I have a bass. Let's replace the bass amp with a distortion plugin and an amp simulator. And now we got an electric guitar. Let's see the type of music we can make using Minecraft. Let's import the Minecraft damage sound. There's a pitch here. There's a couple things I want to do. Now it's tuned. Let's make the D last longer. Now it sounds like this. Let's have it fade out. Let's cut off the high end. Let's export the file. Thank y'all for the continued support in this series. This is episode 61. And also, thank you guys for 20,000 followers on Instagram. Let's crop the file and set the root key to D. Let's run this through an amp. It's a bass. Of course it's going through an amp. Let's add some reverb. Now I got a bass. Let's see the type of music we can make using Fortnite. Let's import the Fortnite down sound. I'm feeling more of a percussive route with this one. Crop it so we just get that little brush sound. Let's cut off the high end for the snare sound. Let's export the file. Thank you guys for the continued support in this series. This is episode 58. And also, thank you guys for 5,000 followers on Instagram. Let's cut off the low end for a hi-hat sound, even though there is no low end. Let's crop the snare, pitch it down and assign it to this note. Let's pitch up the hi-hat sample and assign it to this note. Let's cut off some of the high end for the whole kit. Let's add some reverb. Now we got a brush kit. Let's see what type of music we can make using an ice maker. Let's import the ice maker. We're going to create two separate sounds out of this. The first one is going to be our kick. The second sound is going to be the ice going in the glass. It's going to sound like this. Let's export both the files. Thank y'all for the continued support in this series. This is episode 37, and as usual, if you guys have a sound you want me to try and make music out of, let me know in the comments. Let's crop the sound of the ice maker. Pitch it down and assign it to this note. Now let's crop the sound of the ice. Pitch it down and assign it to this note. Let's add some low end and cut off our high end. Let's add some reverb. Now the final drum kit sounds like this. Let's see the type of music we can make using my intro. Let's import me. I'm not playing y'all the intro. Y'all have heard it at least 70 times. Let's cut off some of the air. So right here when I say make, I want to stretch that out a little bit. But first of all, I feel like to make an instrument, this is all too low. Because typically I like my samples higher. Because when you drop them for guitars, basses, that kind of thing, not only does it affect the pitch, it affects the length. Meaning the lower down you go, the longer the note extends. So let's go into our auto-tune software and pitch this up an octave. So this is what I sound like pitched up an octave. Let's see what type of music we can make. Never want to hear that again. So let's stretch out the A and make, and it sounds like this. Let's export the file. Let's pitch it down an octave. Now we're left with this. Let's run it through a distortion plugin. Let's run it through an amp. Let's add some reverb. Now we got an electric guitar. Let's see what type of music we can make using a camera. Let's import the camera. We're going to cut the clip. I'm hearing two different shutter sounds. Let's make those two different clips. We're going to export both the files. Just a side note, thank y'all for the continued support in this series. This is the 30th episode. If you guys have any suggestions for a sound you want me to make, leave them in the comments. Let's set our tempo. Let's open up our 808. Let's import both the samples. Assign one of the camera samples to all 16th notes. Sound like this. Let's crop the sample. We're going to crop the other camera sample. We're going to create a syncopated rhythm that sounds like this. Let's boost the low mids. I'm going to turn the volume down on this sample. We're going to add some reverb. Our 808 loops sound a lot like castanets. Let's see the type of music we can make using Sonic. Let's import the Sonic ring sound. Let's crop it so we just get one tone. Let's tune the ringing. Now the tuned ring sounds like this. Let's cut off the high end so we just get pure tone. I'm going to have permanent ringing in my ears because of this one. Let's export the file. Thank y'all for the continued support in this series. This is episode 56. And as usual, if you guys have a sound that you want me to try and make music out of, let me know in the comments. Let's crop the file. And also thank y'all for 500 followers on Instagram. I did not expect to get that. That's pretty cool. Let's pitch it down an octave. Let's add some reverb. Now we can play green sleeves.